We got one that is festering beyond what you even know. We'll give you the inside dope on that. Auburn comes to town, and two viciously competitive coaches who go back a long way together want to win this game in the worst way. There's all kind of backroom shenanigans, all kind of promotions, all kind of special things going on. I'm going to tell you about those tonight, and Franz Beard will be here with to tell us also about this basketball team looking for its sixth straight SEC win. What a turnaround. And tonight also we'll have Ben Troop. We'll weigh in on some football stuff. I still love that game played by Indiana and the way it was coached and the quarterback. We'll talk about that some. And then we'll talk a little football. Kevin Brockwell will be here. It looks like they're doing some stuff up in Gainesville. We'll get Kevin coaches up on that. All coming your way tonight right here on the Buddy Martin Show. So stay tuned and tell your friends and neighbors we are here, and we'll be here for the next hour. Check us out.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Welcome to the program. It's going to be a good one tonight. We're going to lead off with Franz Beard talking about Saturday's game. Big book signing coming up for Franz Saturday in Gainesville, a Prestige Auto. Then on up to Gainesville, he and Chris Spears to cover the game. And this game has a rivalry within the rivalry. We can talk about a little of it, some of it we can't. But there's stuff going on up there between Stephen Pearl and Todd Golden that would make your hair curl, wouldn't it, Franz?
Well, they're best of buddies and competitive buddies. They're like two brothers that really push the envelope when besting one another. Stephen Pearl, obviously son of Bruce Pearl, and Todd Golden, who is like a second son to Bruce Pearl. And like he met Stephen at the Maccabee games after Stephen played at Tennessee for Bruce. Todd played at St. Mary's for Randy Bennett, and they met at the Maccabee games, and Todd ended up playing a little bit of professional basketball there in Israel. But oh my, they text each other, they FaceTime each other.
They text each other this morning. I read it online. They text each other this morning, and they just want to beat each other so bad. They're telling people, "I do not want to lose this game."
No, they don't. And of course, for Stephen's got a double reason to want to do it because Florida beat Auburn in the regular season last year, and then they beat them in the Final Four last year to get to the championship game. So Florida got them twice last year, and I'll tell you, they're highly competitive individuals. And buddy, this would be if they were just friends and not like brothers. It would be this way because they're both so competitive. Stephen is going to be a really good basketball coach someday. This is his first head coaching job. Todd's been at it a while longer and obviously has a leg up on that. And that fuels the fire a bit because Bruce, Stephen was working for Dad for so many years. And here's Todd who left Auburn, went out on his own and has made a remarkable coaching change there, coaching career there. I mean, to be 40 years old, you think about this, to be 40 years old, to have won 50 games in the last 2 years. Think about that. 40 in his first 2 at Florida, 50 in his last 2, actually year and a half. He's got probably another, I'd say 12, 15 more wins in him this year, at least. He's going to be the fastest coach to 100 wins in the history of the University of Florida.
Yeah. Well, like you say, even if it were not this heated rivalry, this is a big game. Florida now has ruled the roost. Remarkable performance by Ruben Chimilu. You wrote about him. He's probably the best defensive player in the league. He's a rebounding machine, and he was on his game this week and looked terrific. And they just annihilated LSU. Didn't play particularly well and beat them by 18 or 20 points, whatever. And gosh, this team is just waiting to explode. I mean, the guard play has gotten quite a bit better, but they haven't clicked. I mean, they never had a night when everybody was on for, although a couple of nights they've had guys at 5, guys in double figures. They lead the nation in rebounding naturally. But they still turn it over, don't make foul shots, and have that. But it's only January. My question to you: how much better can this team be? And they're a march waiting to happen.
Well, how much better can they be? They are the ones that are pushing each other on that. I mean, they only had 10 turnovers against LSU. They only had 10 against Vanderbilt. They're not turning the ball over. They had a bad free throw shooting game. They had just a bad shooting game, period, against LSU. Tommy Hawk, 2 for 11 from the field, both of them threes. Ball just would not go in for him. Yeah. Tommy is normally a very reliable shooter. Alex Condon, same thing between the two. When you've got 2 future NBA players, 2 future first-round draft picks, go 5 for 20, and between the 2 of them get 6 rebounds against an LSU team that's not bad. Believe me, they're not bad at all. And you still out-rebound them by 20, and you still beat them by 18, and you could have beaten them by 30. That says a lot about your ball club. And
you told me this all last year. They were going to win. They're going to win the championship. I thought, no, Franz, you're over your skis again. And they went out and did exactly what you said. You said after they got beat in 5 games by a margin of 17 points against number 1 teams like Arizona, etc. You said, don't worry, they'll go through the SEC schedule. They're the best team. Oh, yeah, Franz, here we go. So here we go now. This could be win number 6. They're up to what in the polls? They're 13, 12. What are they?
They're 16th in the polls, but they're the highest ranked team with 5 wins.
Yeah.
They will be 6-1 in the SEC as of this weekend. And I promise you, next week they'll be at South Carolina, and then they'll have Alabama home on a Sunday 1:00 game. And I expect the Gators are going to win both those games. I think they're going to be 8-1 at the midway point of the SEC schedule. This team, they're not nobody. Let me explain it like this, buddy. Nobody has beaten the Gators yet, except the Gators. The Gators have. It's not about other teams beating the Gators. It's about the Gators have lost 5 games that they should have won. And I can tell you right now, I think those days are behind them. Of course, it's all possible. The only game that's remaining on the schedule that really concerns me is Georgia up at Stegman, because Georgia plays the Gators great at Stegman. Georgia could have you and me in the backcourt, and at Stegman they'll still play the Gators tough. I don't know what it is about Stegman. building is ancient. It's the rats will come up to you and introduce you to their great grandkids and stuff like that, and ask you for some popcorn. But Stegman is ancient, and it's always been a place where the Gators are capable of stumbling. And Georgia's really good this year. Georgia, this is Mike White's best team. I have them right now in my worst to first in the SEC rankings. I have Georgia ranked number 2. And I think Mike has done a terrific job this year with Georgia. And I really and truly believe that they're the second best team in the league right now. I think Florida is head and shoulders better than anybody else.
Yeah. All right. So we have this question all week long, and you folks can go online and also answer if you'd like. And that is fill in the blank. I'll be disappointed in Florida unless they blank.
You're asking me that question?
Yeah.
I'll be disappointed if they don't get to at least the Elite Eight.
I'm with you. That's exactly what I said too. The Elite Eight for me. They're good enough to do that and should. And it's all about, as we know, getting hot for 6 games. That is the issue. This team, this is a remarkable team. They can play so good sometimes. They look unbeatable. But every now and then they have a lapse. And that happens. If you have that in March, you're dead. So we'll see how that. By the way, just a little information. And let me put this up too. I want to drop it in here and talk about your book. You had a really good book signing at Cogent in Gainesville, The Golden Season. A lot of people have bought the book. People are loving the book. The reviews are really good. You're going to go back on Saturday. You'll be there before the Auburn-Florida game, signing books, and the guy who took all those pictures will be there too. And
they've got Prestige in Ocala.
Prestige in Ocala on Highway 200 out there. You look it up online, and Chris Spears will be there. And this book is drawing a lot of acclaim for a lot of people who say it's not only a really good Gator book, it's an interesting book and it's well written. And if you like college basketball at all, you'll like the story of how this team won this. And this will be a marker that'll stand for all time. 20 years from now, when you want to know how they won the Natty, this book will tell that story. Great job by Franz. Great job by Chris. And we're very happy. We've underwritten this book ourselves. We took it ourselves. We have so much money lying around. Yeah. So we have this book out there now, and you can buy it. You can get it online, but you can get it a little cheaper if you buy it on a book signing event like we've got from 11 o'clock on, 11 to 1 on Saturday. Then Franz is off to Gainesville. He'll sign your book and go by Chris Spears Prestige Auto on 200 there, and he will. He'll and there's a bunch of goodies there. By the way, there's also a ring, one of the rings that people are raving about, which was the big hit that at the last thing. Everybody wants those rings, and they're impossible to get. And the only guy that's got them is Jeffrey Meldon, but
buddy, people are selling them on eBay.
I know.
So I've been told, and I've been told they've been selling them for pretty good chunk.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, they look. I've got a picture somewhere here. The replicas look like the real thing. I had to ask when they sent me a picture. Is this the real ring or is this? No, it's a replica. It looks like the real ring. So that's going to be fun. In a couple of minutes, we're going to have. Kevin Brockway will be joining us to talk a little football. Ben Troop is around the corner. We'll get him to talk some football. But before let's just do this. Go ahead and do the commercial and talk about the book signing on Saturday and all the goodies. You come by there. We got a bunch of swag from Meldon Law. My friend Tom Schmitz, who was at the signing with you on Tuesday, said there was a hat in there he saw worth $25 by itself. A $25 hat. They're giving it away. So there's a bunch of swag just by coming by there and saying hi. And the secret word is Jeffrey Meldon. You'll get a gift of some kind. And then you get into the drawing and you get a chance to win one of those rings. Great stuff. So check it out. Meanwhile,
Jeffrey's unbelievable, isn't he?
he is, and I'm going to tell you a little breaking news on him. And also, first, let me tell you about his commercial. They're in the business of law. I have to point that out to Jeffrey every now and then. He wants to talk about everything but that, because if you need a lawyer, and we all do at some point, there's a guy you can count on. There's a firm you can count on now. 4 locations in North Central Florida, now 1 in South Florida. That law firm has grown to 50 attorneys, and they're doing it right. And Jeffrey's son is there, of course, taking over his spot. And it's a terrific bunch of people. They're Gators. They do so much for the program. They're the only official law firm in Florida. They sponsor this show. And as of next week, friends, there's a new basketball show on Thursday nights. Jeffrey Meldon, who knows incredible stories about these players that nobody else knows, because he and his wife, Patricia, they have them over all the time. He knows those players, their wives or moms, and he's agreed to come on, and he'll be one of the regulars on the show on Thursday night. It's going to be called Gator Hoopla with Jeffrey Meldon and Franz Beard, and possibly Lauren Meadows. We'll see if he's available for that time. And we will talk basketball. It's a basketball night. The rest of the season, Thursday night, will be basketball night. So check that out. And coming up in a minute, we also got Ben Troop. So, Franz, are you ready to talk some hoop with Jeffrey? He's a good one.
Yes, I am. And Jeffrey is one of these people that you leave anytime you have a conversation with Jeffrey, you leave with a smile on your face, and that's a fact. He's just one of these guys. I've had people describe him as a little elf because he's not very tall and everything like this, but he's really great. Does. He brings a lot of joy to a lot of lives.
This guy is pretty
the way
tall,
he is involved in so many things that are worthwhile.
This is going to be a hat show. A hat show all of a sudden, you know? Hats. Good-looking hats everywhere. Let's see which Wi-Fi Ben's on tonight. We'll say hello to Ben Troop, and before we get into that.
It ain't a good one. It ain't a good one. I was going to try to jump on something else real quick.
That'd be good if you could do that. It'd be helpful.
Let's do
that. Because this time's jumping around. And while we're doing that, Franz, we can segue into a little bit of football. I wrote my column today on how the Indiana-Miami game set the table for all these teams who thought they had no hope. You no longer can use the excuse, it takes a while. You no longer use the excuse, we don't have enough resources. No longer use the excuse, we don't have 5 stars, because they prove that you can win with a team concept and you can beat the best with good coaching and good playing. It was an unbelievable game. Well, I put it down as one of the top events I've ever seen in my lifetime, and I've seen a few, and it was incredible. So now my question to you, what does that tell John Summerall, and how will that impact the Gators, and what are they going to be talking about?
Well, one of the things that John Summerall said about 3 weeks ago, somebody said, "What is your 4-year plan?" He said, 4-year plan? I got a 5-minute plan.
Yeah.
He said,
yeah.
And there's good news and there's bad news about what Indiana did, buddy.
I know.
The good news is they showed that it can be done in a hurry and done without the greatest of resources and everything like that. If you got right players with the right attitude and the right coaches who know how to bring out the best in them, good stuff can happen. That's the good news. The bad news is it's made it so that coaches aren't going to be getting 5 years to build a program anymore. Everybody's going to be saying, well, Signetti did it at the place that's lost more games than any other school in the history of Division I.
Yeah.
He has ended that, he has created an aura of impatience that's not going to go anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of like, what was the movie, Oh God, where George Burns says, for the good, there's got to be bad. For a top, there's got to be a bottom. For there's an east, there's got to be a west. And, the good news is you can do it in a hurry. The bad news is you can do it in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben, what was the most impressive thing about that team and that game and the outcome to you?
The most important, the most impressive thing about that team was the fact that, Fernando Mendoza's story is going to be one for the ages. And I think that the greatest thing about the team is they finished. Because if they don't win it, no one cares. Like, if they don't win it, ain't nobody they're going to be like, oh, yeah. Cinderella did the unthinkable. She got the prince, she got the shoe, she got the frog, she got the fairy godmother. They got it. And I think what stood out the most to me was Fernando Mendoza. He didn't have his greatest game. He had some great moments. That touchdown run, I mean, he sacrificed his body. He gave it up. And Kurt Cignetti's team played like he talks. That's how they play. Because Kurt Cignetti talks a lot, and he should. I mean, to be in coaching as long as he's been in coaching, to hit your payday in your in your 60s, when most guys will go, man, I'm just happy to be in college football. And they did it on the biggest stage. Miami. Either this is going to prepare Miami to get back to where they were, or this is going to set them back a long
time. We wouldn't want that to happen.
I mean, the let me say this. The college analyst in me don't want that to happen. The Florida Gator in me, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want them to be, because Buddy and Franz, you guys know this. Miami talks like they ain't never left. They talk like they do this every year. They talk like, and I said, this is me, and I could be wrong. I said, I don't like this Miami front of the line thing. This is Indiana the only way to win it. Miami ain't never won the ACC. How you gonna just skip a step? You ain't never won the ACC. You finna just go straight to the national championship? Nope. So the most impressive thing was the fact that Indiana is a basketball school that they don't have no football history outside of Antoine Randall and maybe Michael Penix. And they did what nobody could do. They dethroned a past blue blood. We talk about the 80s and the 90s and 2001. They ain't really been a blue blood since. And Fernando Mendoza got that $1 million smile, right? He's gonna say all the right things. He is from Miami, and Manny Diaz told him, "You can't even be a walk-on." Mario Cristobal went to college with his daddy. Nope, don't want you. And Franz, buddy, I know how it is. You always want it. You guys have been a part of the media a long time. You guys got a lot of stories, a lot of interactions. There's somebody in the media, I mean, and I mean this respectfully, that you don't like. And if you see him, I don't care where you at, you're going to say, oh, there he is. Right? And that's just a human thing. Well, if you are Fernando Mendoza, you said, dude, I don't like the fact that I'm supposed to be Carson Beck. Carson Beck ain't a Miami. He's a Hurricane because he was in the portal. He didn't grow up wanting to be no Hurricane. That boy wanted to be a Bulldog. And he's from Jacksonville. So if you are Fernando, he said, dude, okay, y'all don't want me, cool. I'm going to win the Heisman. I'm going to go undefeated. I'm going to beat Ohio State. I'm going to beat Oregon twice. I'm going to beat the brakes off of Alabama. I'm going to beat Penn State. And I'm going to beat Miami. And hey, man, I love it. And the kid that got the game selling pick, he's from Miami. He went to Miami Northwest.
His last name is Sharp. His last name is Sharp. He's from Miami. Brendan's mother's name was Sharp. Brendan's middle name is Sharp, and she was from Miami.
Are you telling me that was your grandson?
Yeah, right. That was him. Yeah. Could have been. Hey, let me jump in real fast.
There's the family resemblance.
Yeah, I'm taller than him. So here's the deal. I want to analyze it from two perspectives. One is the pure football strategy and excellence that we saw in this game on that play call. And secondly, the drama of his mother, who I didn't know had MS. And you can see that the father never stood up the whole time because she couldn't stand up. And you saw the grandkids hugging him and all that. And the game was over. He came over in a very tender moment and hugged his mom. Calls her mommy. His mummy is what he calls her. And it was a really wonderful picture. You could see the joy in the family. The second thing was for the pure football excellence. This is one of the greatest calls in our lifetimes. Number one, he was going to go for the field goal. Has guys that ready to kick the field goal, right? Which would have been okay, but that's not going to cinch the ball game. And so he gets out there and he figures he runs the ball. He figures, well, we got first down. We got 1 yard to go. We just made 9 yards. We're good. Only thing wrong was that next play, the offensive lineman jumped, one of their very best. And now instead of a sure first down on 2nd and 1, it's all of a sudden back to 2nd and 6. And you got an issue here now. What are you going to call? And so the next play, they don't make it. Now it's 3rd down, and they don't make it. And you think, well, kick the field goal. He sends his kicker out into the field, right? Going to kick the field goal, right? Calls a timeout and gets over to the side, and they talk. And you're thinking, is he going to go for this on 4th and 9? Surely he won't do that, will he? And lo and behold, they said, put on the field, and they went for it, and he made a fantastic play. He, and as Coach Signetti said of Mendoza, you guys talk about what a nice, sweet kid he is. He's got the heart of a lion. And he hit that hole, and he hit that linebacker, and he would not be stopped. And I heard this used today, and I used it the other night a couple of times. When John Elway was playing in a game, trying to win a Super Bowl, remember, against Green Bay, he hit the hole like that, and he spun around. They call it like a helicopter. He was like a helicopter, and he scored a touchdown. They won the game. This guy got hit, and he kept on going, and he went across that line like an F-16. I mean, boom, he went across that line, and he scored, and they won the game. What a call. What an incredible play, and what an incredible year. I got to say, in my lifetime, I've never seen anything like it. Now, you guys.
Buddy, he called timeout twice and went for it on 4th down. He was going to kick the field goal. The first time, it was 4th and 5 on the first one. And they're out there, and it's going to be a 50-yard field goal, and he's ready to send his field goal team out there, and he calls timeout and decides to go for it. And Herb Street is having apoplexy.
Yeah.
You got to kick the field goal here.
Yeah.
And they make it because he makes a heck of a throw, a back shoulder throw to that receiver. And I guarantee that Miami cornerback is sitting there still saying, how'd that boy catch that on me? And then he has another 4th down inside the 10.
Yeah.
And he calls timeout, was going to kick it again. And both times, I tell you what, nobody's got to be more embarrassed about this game than Kirk Herbstreit, because Kirk Herbstreit couldn't believe twice that Signetti went for it and got it. But what can you say about a guy that they asked him a question at his introductory press conference? Why are you the coach here? He said, because I win. Because
I win. Google me. And I heard Kurt Signetti say something that I can appreciate. He says, average is the enemy. That is our enemy. He said, he said, is it okay to be average? Yeah, but most of us don't want that. Most people don't want to be average. In a game like that, nothing tells a player you believe in me more when you go for it. That means you saying, I'm willing to not get this, but man, we've come too far to get timid now. Wait a minute. Now we want to be conservative. Now we want to play it. Playing it safe gets you beat. It gets you beat on all levels. And the best play calls is the call you go, ain't no way they're going to call no quarterback. They're not going to call it on 4th and whoa. Because the defense was like, okay, they're going to sit back and play coverage. When the thing, I've always said this, a quarterback draw is just like an under route. If you've ever seen an under route, that means everybody's going left. You got that one guy coming back. The only way that route is going, if you're coming from left to right, do not look back to the right, because that's safe to look to right. It's just look left. They say that the key to a draw is this: when you get ready to run, take 1 more second. That's the hardest thing in football. And it's like he got it and just stood there for a second.
Yeah.
And he took off. Fernando Mendoza. He's not the most athletic. He's not the most gifted, but he can play. And to me, that's what makes him him, is the fact that he goes, look, man, I know I don't look it. I'm from Miami. Yeah, I ain't got no goals in my mouth. I ain't got no dreads in my hair. I get it. I wanted to be a Hurricane. And there is something about playing against a team that told you, we don't think you that good, dude. What? And there's something significant about Miami versus Mendoza. Mendoza played against them before, but he was at Cal. He played against Miami before, but he was at Cal then. Why is that significant? 2018, there was a guy by the name of Joe Burrow who got beat by UCF in the bowl game. And they knocked him out and they ran by and said something to him. The same Joe Burrow that threw a pick six at Florida, and the rest is history. You go to 2019 and you see the season they had. Fernando Mendoza to me is why you love football for this reason.
I agree.
Football players got boulders on their shoulders, man. We got egos the size, of the state of Florida. And I think for him, he was like, look, I'm not going to show it in my demeanor. I got this golly gosh darn, I look like Woody off of Toy Story. That's who he looks like. He looks just like Woody off of Toy Story. But when I put that jersey on, you got to show me. They won every game. They are. Indiana has Indiana's trophy case looks better than football trophy case looks better than most teams in the SEC. Most of them. And I just think for me, for one night, yes, I wanted Indiana to win because I don't want Miami winning nothing. I please don't let me, because I didn't want to see it. Listen, I'm so sick of seeing Michael Irvin with these belts. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't want to
They didn't show him as much this time. They made a
concept.
concept.
They showed him. They showed him at the end. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing that we keep on talking about with Miami. Indiana, I believe this is the only way they could have done it. That's a bunch of grown men out there now. Average age 23, 24, 25. I get it. Miami tried to buy their way to the Natty. And it almost worked. And I'm just happy that it didn't, Buddy and Franz, because if that's Indiana's only way of getting there. To me, that's the only way they're gonna do it. Miami, come on, man. You once again, every time a team, every other team had to get it. Didn't Duke win the ACC at like 5 and 7 or something like that? They won the ACC.
They were 7-5, and they were 7-5. They were 6-2 in the ACC and won it.
Well, I'm just happy that Miami wasn't able to buy their way to the top, because I think that's what would have been a bigger problem. Indiana, yeah, I get it. They went to the well and it worked. Indiana had a 2013 Florida State moment with Jimbo Fisher. They didn't go back after that. I just think for Miami, they really thought, hey man, what is all this we're back? Well, you're back to what? Like, what are you back to? We're back. No. So I'm happy that Indiana won. I love the fact that I get to be the biggest troll, because when people say, Ben, you're just mad because Florida, somebody said, well, Ben, you mad because Florida got beat by Miami the last 2 years. I said, a lot of people beat Florida the last 2 years. We got beat by a lot of people. But guess what? We never lost to Indiana, though, in the Natty. At least we can say that. So,
hey, I got to tell you something that's going to blow your minds. There's been a Jaden Rashada sighting.
Yeah, I saw it.
Oh, my God.
He is going to be at Mississippi State now. Let's see, he started out Florida. Then he went to Arizona State. Then he went to Georgia. And then he resurfaced at Sacramento. I don't know where he went after Georgia, but then he went to Sacramento State this past year. And now he's going to be at Mississippi State, which I think is his 5th or 6th team.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, is he trying to? Hey, man.
How much they gonna pay for him? How much they want to pay for him? $5 million. What was it?
$13 million.
Yeah, $13 million.
And he last year at Sacramento State, 16 for 41 for 239 yards and a touchdown.
Well, now that lawsuit went out with Napier. Don't know what happened there.
That's somebody else's problem, not ours.
He ain't lying. That's a Gators Collective. Oh, that's right. We don't have Gators Collective anymore.
Yeah. So just as a reminder, let me tell you, we love Melvin so much. Jeffrey does a great job. He will be on Thursday night on the new basketball show. Ben's going to be making a change. He's going to be doing a show with Lauren. We think it's going to be the weekend. They haven't told us exactly what. They're teaming up to do a special broadcast. And Francis, we're going to be on hoops with with a guy giving out the rings, and he is giving away, by the way, another one of those rings on Thursday night next week, and maybe for the next few weeks you can win one by we don't know what yet next Thursday. So a lot going on. Ben Troop's going to be moving around the dial a little bit.
You got to tell Mr. Melton, look, I know he got a lot of this. I know
I don't got to tell him anything. You got to tell him. I don't have any.
I got to catch him. Yeah. I want to catch him during basketball season because I can catch him in football. Because once basketball season is over, he heading to another continent for like 3 months.
I hear you. By the way, I heard today that the ring promotion that they did, which was fantastic, giving away 10,000 rings. I heard today, I was told, there have had 50 phone calls from other schools trying to figure out how they did it. And Freddie said, well, it's very simple. It just takes money. Yeah, they bought those rings.
No. Hey, man, how did y'all do it? We won the national championship. No. Oh, you're talking about the rings. You're talking about how you get to, well, you have to win a national championship, and then you get replicas.
Yeah.
So we really got to win it to get a replica? Yeah. Man, well thanks for nothing.
It can't be a replica if you don't.
He may have to do it again this year, guys, because
they nice.
Well, listen, you guys got to calm down your talk.
They are capable of doing it again.
They are. You guys got to calm down your talk a little bit on the Miami stuff. We got a Miami.
Hey, at least Ben is wearing the Miami colors today. I'm wearing blue. I'm wearing Gator colors.
Exactly. I didn't say anything. Let me say this. When I am talking trash, I am not talking about the program. I am only talking about the fan base. Okay. I'm rooting for those players, but y'all don't see what I have to deal with. And look, my ex account has been hacked like 3 times. I know it was a Miami or Florida State fan. I already know. I can't prove it. But that, I'm gonna get Mr. Melton to help me figure out who hacked me.
Buddy, I just want to, because I saw the Barnhart clip. I just want to say this in defense of my alma mater. Right? Remember the Brandon Spikes gouging of the eyes? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Brendan Beck spitting in a player's face earlier this year. Do you remember? I don't remember anything football about is a Jamari Lyons 2 years ago against football. Football is an emotional, violent game played by emotional, violent people. Okay, and sometimes people are going to go over the edge a little bit. And this is in defense of my alma mater because I saw this pearl clutching about the late hit or whatever. You're going to try to affect the quarterback here. Kids, their brains don't, fully function until they're 27 years old. That's all I got to say on the matter. And look, Indiana won. They were the better team. I said it was going to come down to the team that made the fewest mistakes. And, obviously that was the case. Miami, the block punt was critical killer play. And also Carson Beck, when he had a little more time to work the ball down the field, took that deep shot probably when he shouldn't have.
Well, Kevin, just so you know, we hadn't even brought up that egregious no call yet. We didn't even mention it yet, which was maybe the worst no call I have ever seen in college football. They actually hammered. He's lucky he didn't get a concussion and get knocked out of the game, and they don't even get a penalty. Let alone he should have been tossed to the game.
That's on the Big 12 officials. You're trying to impact the quarterback.
I don't care who it is. I don't care what.
But hey, look, I'll give Mendoza all the credit in the world. He is a tough kid, man. He kept on getting back up.
Spitting
kept
blood.
on playing. He was nails. And obviously that run on the 4th and 5. The difference between Kurt Cignetti and Mario Cristobal, I'll say this, okay? Because I'm going to bash, my own coach here. Kurt Cignetti goes for it on 4th and 5, believes in his team. Mario Cristobal, 4th and 2, runs the clock down and tries a 50-yard field goal. That tells you all you need to know about the two coaches and their confidence in their ability and their teams to execute.
I thought if Miami had gone for it and gotten that first down at the end of the first half, I think that it would have been a totally different ball game. I really I put that one. Most of the time it's hard to put it on coaches because coaches don't get out there. They don't throw passes. They don't catch the ball. They don't make tackles. All they can do is prepare you. But they got them. Who was it that said that? I think Vince Lombardi said, he made about 5 decisions during a game that might impact the game. The rest of the time was just all about what they did at practice. And I thought that if they had gone for it and gotten it, then that it would have have totally turned the game around. I think in retrospect, he probably thinks the same thing.
We talked about this earlier, and I said in the anatomy of that call, you have to have first the IQ and the knowledge to know that there's something you can counter. And they worked on this, their staff worked on this for 45 minutes in practice, this particular play, 45 minutes. And they had to have the right minute to call it. They found the right minute to call it. And then you have to execute it. You have to have the IQ to be able to do it. You have to have the knowledge to put it in and teach your players how to execute it. And you have to have the balls to call it. And they did, and they went 3 for 3. Incredible.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing when you think about Mendoza pulling off the hat trick, right? He got the Heisman, the national championship,
and probably number one draft pick.
Probably is going to be the number one draft pick. Pulling off that hat trick. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an amazing story in Indiana football. Trust me, because I was there a few years ago to Tom Allen when they had a slight renaissance, but they couldn't sustain it. But what Cignetti has done,
who was there when you were there?
Taken it to another stratosphere. In terms of what he's done with that program and the attention.
Who was there when you were there?
I was Tom Allen. It was Michael Penix and Kalen DeBoer was the offensive coordinator. Okay. They had a couple of decent seasons. They got to a Gator Bowl, but then in 2021, the bottom fell out. Penix tried to come back too quickly from the torn ACL, and they went 2-10, and he transferred to Washington. But what Curt Cignetti has done, I mean, it's just
phenomenal,
unbelievable in a state that's not a high school football state. Is just light years. I mean, it's one of those amazing coaching jobs that I don't think you're ever going to see ever again in terms of what look, and he did it with mature players. I know some people are knocking on that. That's like 23 to 25-year-olds. But listen,
Alabama's got one that came in from the pros, came back and played for Andrew.
Oh,
that's a whole other deal. I'm not going to because I want to get into football.
Okay,
and I want to say, what can we say now about what we know about what's happened with Florida's football program the last 2 weeks and what Summerall has done? Two of the indicators, I wrote this in my column today. I look for little indicators. We don't know yet, but we think you can look at the result and see how many players have got in the portal, which we screamed for how long for Napier to do that, and he didn't get anybody. He got 42 guys in 4 years. And this guy got 24 in 2 weeks. And then you take the things, you add them up. That's number one. I heard Tim Tebow say this. Someone asked him what he thought about the new coach, and he said, "Well, I liked him when I first was introduced to him, but when I got to talk to him and meet him and get to know him, I like him even better." That's a pretty bold statement right there, right? That's pretty bold. And then I heard Steve Spurrier say there's a little bit of Cignetti in Summerall. That's a good sign. So those are little indicators, and using that as a springboard to kind of interpret what's ahead, it looks like, it's looking good. I'm not going to make any conclusions here. But just those things look good, and everybody talks about how much they really like this guy. Kevin, where are they right now? Where they're going, and what do you like about it?
You mentioned Cignetti. The thing I've heard is a little bit of Urban in terms of the attention to detail on special teams and the toughness and wanting, the strength coach wanting to bring that tough mindset. Let's face it, this is a team that was, and I may have mentioned this before in podcasts, but was on and off for tackling, right? The physicality. So many people focus on the offense, but there were some games where they were simply run over. Tennessee comes to mind, Kentucky comes to mind, where, they didn't bring it. Sometimes they would bring it for the rivals, but they didn't bring it every game. Under John Summerall wants his team to bring it every game, the physicality, the toughness, that tough mindset, not to take weeks off when it comes to blocking and tackling. And I think that's the first step. That's the foundation that he's going to want to bring to this program.
All right, Ben, let's hear from you. What have you seen so far that you can hang your hat on? Give me an indicator of how this thing is going so far. We don't conclude anything. Where you stand, what do you think, and are you encouraged by what you see?
I'm encouraged by what I see. I think the main thing Coach Summerall was doing, he's operating like Florida didn't have the season, and he like, no, that ain't have nothing to do with me. Like, yeah, we didn't have a good season last year, and he's doing the thing that you have to do. You got to win the perception battle. That's a lot of college football. You got to win that. Every time I'm on X, every time I refresh it, I'm seeing them in these schools. And here's the thing. Here's the thing about Coach Summerall. The two things he got. He said, "Look, I'm the head coach of Florida, and I made the college football playoff, not at Florida. You don't think I can coach? I made the college football playoff, at Tulane. And yes, you're gonna be compared to your predecessors. I get those type things, but Tim Tebow don't got to say that. Urban Meyer don't got to say what he said. Coach Spurrier don't got to say. They're not contractually obligated to be nice or be complimentary of the current coach, but they are. Because, buddy, friends, when you sitting in front of a dude, you get a lot from him. Like, if you can hear him and see him, you can't fake that. He don't look fake. That's what I get. He don't look. He says what he means. And the main thing is he says, I don't have a 5-year plan. I got a right now plan. He's working it right now. You went and got a D coordinator that was highly sought after. You went and got the #1 offensive coordinator in the country, both voted on and what he did. You got them both, right? You bring a guy in like Byron Bam Hartman, a former teammate of mine, right? And we always say, dude, if you can't recruit at Florida, you can't recruit at Florida. He's recruiting like, I don't care what Florida has done. It's still Florida, right? Okay. And he's acting like it. But this is what he really did. He got Jaden Ball to sign on the dotted line. I don't care I don't care anything else. Because you see how we can just come on here and talk? Because Jaden gonna be to me, because let's face it, if he don't get him, we asking him, we understand DJ now. He over there at Baylor. What did you say to Jaden? Because he was the #1 priority. So you got Jaden back. You bringing a bunch of transfers
too.
Yeah. So look, right now he could do no wrong because ain't no football being played, and he's winning. All season he's winning from the introductory press conference and down the recruiting trail. And look, I'm rocking with Coach Summerall. I have to. I mean, we played the same time. Listen, Kentucky linebackers, they don't, they wear Cowboys, no gloves. They look like the mannequin. So I like that he did it the right way. He's doing it the right way. And hopefully that same mentality that he has is going to resonate, first game of the season. Because like I said, right now you're trying to get as many guys as you possibly can, retain as many guys as you possibly. Listen, Miles Graham coming back. LJ McCray, he'll be healthy next year. Jaden Ball, he's coming back. BB3, he's back. Look, I'm up here talking. Listen, I'm just up here in Georgia talking trash to these Georgia fans because they just mad. They're like, man, y'all just mad because we've had our way with y'all. I said, look, man, y'all had a couple more games. They said we won the SEC championship. We still got more than y'all. So
last time I looked, I didn't see Georgia in the championship anyway. So
I was going to say, let's not forget another guy that they brought back, best one of the year, Texas, Dallas Wilson. You keep that kid healthy for a whole season.
Well, they got 5. They went 5 for 5 with the guys they wanted. That was the great part about it. And Franz, what do you think you like about it so far?
I like the systematic approach he is taking. He's getting players that fit what he's a lot like Cignetti in this. Cignetti said, and I heard him say it 3 times, he doesn't care. The only things he cares about are effort, productivity, and attitude. He says, that's it. He says, if you got the right attitude and you got the productivity and you give me the effort, he says, we will win ball games. And it seems to me that John Summerall is going after players who are productive. I don't see a lot of superstars out there, but I see a lot of guys that seem to fit well with what his plans are. I like the fact that he's got 19 offensive linemen when you count the incoming freshmen with the transfers and the guys he's got coming back. I like the fact that he's got now I think 11 wide receivers, and most of them have had some productivity. And again, you don't have to have one superstar receiver. I mean, you look at the LSU, the Ole Miss receivers this past year. They didn't have one guy that just blew you away with 1,200 yards and 15 touchdown catches, but they had a lot of guys that had 35, 38, 40 catches like that. So the ball moved around. They got guys that can catch the football, and I see him doing that kind of thing. So I like that it's very systematic. He's plugging holes, and he's not necessarily doing it with superstars, but he's getting good players.
Yeah. Okay. And final point I want to make is the guy, the hire I really like is Troutline. If you see the quality of the players, just based on what we see, their ratings and their reputation, their size, he bring them in from Penn State. Everywhere he's got a whole bunch of. I saw a list today of the weekend visitors. They got like 10 guys coming in for offensive linemen. We all know the offensive line was a problem last year, Ben. And we thought, well, they got Rob Sale, they got 2 offensive line coaches. Surely they'll figure that out. And other than the fact that we had an All-American center who was second string this year, Jake Slaughter, there wasn't much to talk about their offensive line. I think they're going to fix the offensive line, Ben. I think that's what he's going after. What do you think?
Yeah, they got. You have to fix the offensive line. Because when the offensive line is subpar, it doesn't matter everything else you have. It doesn't matter. And Jaden Ball, Dallas Wilson and company, whoever's going to be under center, when the offensive line is good, everybody else get to be great. Think about it. You only get to be great if your offensive line is good, because now you can win because of them, not in spite of them. And Summerall understands football is won in the trenches. We can talk all day about all this other stuff you got. Do you got an O-line? Because when you got an O-line, now I can really see what my quarterback is. I can really see what my running back is. I can really see what my skill players are. And I can really have a balanced offense. When I have a bad offensive line, well, that means we're going to run a lot of vanilla plays because we can't get – if the offensive line is bad, you can't get complex with your blocking schemes. You can't do all those side things. So Summerall understands that, look, I got to get back to basics. And Jaden Ball didn't sign to be blocking. He didn't come back to be blocking. He came back to run that thing. So, yeah, we'll get it right. I just think that, once again, not to – when it comes to offensive line play, I was blessed enough to play with Mike Pearson and Mike DeGore and Shannon Snell and Max Starks. A bunch of bums. Couldn't block nobody. No, you got to have guys that take pride in the fact that, if the offensive line is good, I mean, the offense got a shot to be really, really good. I think he's going to handle that. I like what he's doing. And he ain't trying to get cute dudes. Look, the days of, Coach, I want to be 295 with 2 abs. No, that's not happening. No, we need you to be thick, real thick, ugly, nasty, road graders. Because when you can look like the Pouncer brothers when your playing career is done. But right now, I need you eating potatoes and carbs. I better not catch you eating no smoke. No more smoke.
All right, so Kevin, this I think we see the game the way it's being played today. You have to control it in the final 2 minutes. You got to get that winning field goal. You got to be able to run the football and move the ball the last 3 to 4 minutes of the game. So many games decided there. When you can run the football and an offensive line can protect the quarterback, that's the golden hour. That's the time you need it in the last 3 to 4 minutes of the game. I think that changes a lot of things. If Florida can ever get that, they certainly got the running back. We'll see about how that's going to go. I think this offensive line could be a big, over everything else, could be the biggest thing about this team. What do you think?
I agree. I think tackle, I wonder. I mean, Austin Barber was a pretty good run blocker. I would say
he was.
Pass protection was a little, but now you're moving Caden Jones over there on the left side. He's a big, massive guy. I mean, that's going to be a big step for him. I know they're really high on the transfer from Stanford, Ugorji, but I wonder where he's going to fit, whether it's going to be a guard or a tackle, and Egan Boyer, another tackle. But I feel like, to establish, a little bit of depth there, and Fletcher Westfall's had some injury problems, right? Yeah. But,
a lot of problems.
You really need it. the pass protection, you really need it because there's, so many great pass rushers in the SEC, as we know. So you've got to really develop that left tackle. This is going to be a big step for Caden Jones for sure.
Yeah. All right. So let's go up or down on right now. If we have to say how Coach Summerall's doing, Kevin, up or down?
Yeah, up. I think I think the arrow is pointing up. I think he's done some. Eric Singleton is another guy I really like.
That's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Shane says he's the best receiver already in the team. Franz, up or down?
I think he's done well. I would give him a thumb up there.
We're not going to give him a grade yet. Just you want to know. All right.
I don't know that he's done great, but he's done well.
Okay. Up or down, Ben? What do you think?
Yeah, I already know.
Okay. Well, you didn't do this. You didn't do this, did you, Ben? Oh, that was expected out of Kevin.
He didn't do Blaine and Antoine.
I'm going to keep saying this about Miami and even those guys over there on the Panhandle. When they are good in college football, that is good for college football because they are a part of the college football fabric. So just because I poke fun, I had to deal with the 2000, 2002, and 2003 Hurricanes, and that's why I went 0-3 against them. I don't care what anybody say. I know they didn't illegally recruit, but those teams they were cheating. That's way too much talent on one team. That's cheating. I don't care what anyone says.
All right, man. Great job, Ben. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Franz. Have a good signing on Saturday. Don't forget, Prestige Auto. Go buy a book. You'll like it. Thank you, guys.
Tell Mr. Melody he got to give me a ring.
I ain't telling nothing. I'm trying to get one for myself.
In the immortal words of Blaine and Antoine, that's 2 snaps up.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. We'll wrap up the show for tonight. Thank you to our guests. Always have the best guests anywhere. And we're reminding you again about the Saturday book signing at Prestige Auto, about our fine sponsors here on the program and our fine guests. Our thanks to the executive producer, Brendan Martin, doing a great job tonight, helping us trying to fix some things that are gotten kind of off kilter. But thank you, Brendan, for that. He's always there. Great, does a great job. Don't forget his show in the morning with SEC Nation. So anyway, I'll wrap it up with tonight's last word with Titan MRI and Imaging, a terrific company, one that is expanding all the time. And they now have 3 locations, about to get 4. 2 in Gainesville with Park Avenue and Millennium Center, 1 in Lake City, serving all of Columbia County in the Valdosta area, and now soon coming to Ocala. You'll be able to take advantage of some of these great features they have at Titan MRI and Imaging. And listen to this. You can't beat this. If you need an MRI, you need a CAT scan, something. Nobody likes you to go do those. You certainly want to go if you can't get off work in the afternoon and put you in a bind. They'll help you. They'll give you a night appointment. Just call them and say, hey, I can't come. Okay, what night? And they'll bring a technician in, and you can have whatever you need done at nighttime. And then you have, okay, what's the situation now in terms of insurance? Or they're now taking insurance. Also, they have a self-pay option. If you like to go through that, they'll help you out with that. And the great thing about this is something that you won't get anywhere else. They have that wonderful extra large cage, as they call it, that you get into when you do your MRI. The walls are not closing in on you. You don't have to get claustrophobia. Extra large. All those features are part of Titan MRI and Imaging. So check them out. Location near you. Oh, excuse me. Wow, sorry. I hope they have anything for hiccups. And check them out. You'll find out why it's a good option. Titan MRI and Imaging. Thank you to our guests tonight. Thank you for listening and watching. We'll be back. Well, when I'll be back. Well, I'm moving some shows around. I have to get those. But next time, I guess, will be Monday for you folks. And we'll be back and we'll do our thing. Thank you. And tell your friends and neighbors, by the way, we're here. Appreciate it. Good night, folks.